You are now watching the Amazin Mets PreGame Show with your hosts, Rob and CP.
Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets!
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Amazin Mets pregame show right here on the channel. And if you didn't know what that quick video was, that was the Mets promoting the City Connect jerseys that are going to make their big appearance on April 19th. And the 26th, you'll see it in live and living color on the players. A lot of people are freaking out on X that they think it's going to be some type of purple uniforms, possibly. But again, if you're from New York, you know what the 7-line number MTA looks like. It looks like a purplish color that is the number 7. I don't think they're going to do purple jerseys, but it's Nike. They've done terrible jobs with the City Connect jersey, so hopefully we're not running around the field looking like Barney, basically. So let's hope we don't do that. But, if you look at all the history of New York, a couple of movies, the 7 Train purple, Gotham City purplish, so they might do a black and purple type of theme. I'm thinking maybe they will stick to like a dark navy, maybe black with maybe the word Queens in purple, along with the Queensboro Bridge in the background. They might do something like that. Maybe they'll. I hope it's not purple. I hope it's not purple jerseys. If it's purple lettering, I understand it because it makes sense with the theme. Maybe Gotham type of font lettering, maybe. But man, could we just not screw this up big time? Like I cannot buy a purple jersey. I really don't want to buy a purple jersey. I'm going to buy it because it's City Connect. It is the Mets City Connect jersey, so I will buy it. A couple of shirts that come out, I will buy it. But let's just hope it's not purple. Let's just hope not. So that was the video that the Mets produced on X. So if you missed it, when the stream is over, make sure you check it out on the Mets X account or replay this video in the beginning and I show it to you. I don't know if it's going to look like I thought the Rockies were going to have purple jerseys, but they had green and white, which is their license plate colors, which is kind of weird. But, what are you going to do? But let's just hope it's not just terrible. Like, if you go with the black jerseys with purple lettering with a little bit of like crazy Gotham themed fonts, okay, I'll deal with it. It's probably not going to look great, but I'll deal with it. So, all right, guys. Big series here for the Mets. The Mets are 3-6 going to Atlanta to play 4 against the Atlanta Braves, the 6-2 Atlanta Braves, who have one of the best offenses in baseball and definitely slugging percentage-wise. They're up there. We all know that. We all know that we are, we're going into a juggernaut here, right? But there's been a lot of issues with the Braves pitching. They've been winning mostly on their offense. They haven't really relied on their pitching. Their pitching is in shambles right now. And coming off the series win like the Mets were, and they had a solid game yesterday against the Reds, getting that first series win under your belt and going to Atlanta, there's a couple of good vibes going on. Lindor is starting to hit. Nimmo is starting to hit. Alonso has been struggling a bit, but we've seen guys that were struggling for mostly the entire season, or at least the first 8 games, started to pick up in the last couple of games, and that is nice to see as well. McNeil started to look a little bit better. Beatty has been one of the best players over the last couple of, I would say 4 or 5 days. He's been looking really good. Alvarez has been slumping a little bit, but I always think that he can always just, connect on one and go crazy. The lineup is a little interesting today, considering that McNeil's playing left field. Joey Wendell is getting a start at second base. DJ Stewart is the DH. I don't like the bottom of the lineup at all, to be honest with you, but you live with it. You got to deal with it. Tonight, the Mets, who recently signed Julio Teheran, is on the mound facing his former team. I don't know what we're gonna get from Julio Teheran. Like, I don't know how much he's worked out, pitched, or anything in that aspect of what he's been doing. We already heard that a couple of pitchers are not available tonight. If I'm not mistaken, it's Diaz, Raleigh, and Ottavino who is not available tonight, as Carlos Mendoza said. So the bullpen is already limited for a guy that I don't expect to go more than 5 innings. So it's going to be a lot of, other guys in this bullpen, Diekman, Drew Smith, guys like that. Johan Ramirez is gone now. So it's going to be very interesting. I know they got, Garrett Reed. They got a couple of other guys. So it's going to be very interesting. Easy. I wouldn't say JD Martinez's situation is strange. It's just that when the player tells you that you're not feeling right and you're sore, you're not going to throw him into the majors and just says, go get him, buddy. Like, you're just not going to do that. Like, you're putting that player in a pressurized situation where he doesn't feel 100%. So I'm not killing the Mets in that aspect. If the player comes to you and say, hey, listen, I'm really sore right now. I've been trying to ramp up rather quickly. You're not going to say, well, I don't care. Go to Atlanta and do something. So, it's like, what are you going to do? You're not going to push him into a pressurized situation and, God forbid, him hurting himself and he's going to be out for a couple of months. So it's not strange. It's just that this is what happens when you sign a guy very late into spring. You're going to have a possible scenario like this. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, if you would have signed him 2 weeks before spring training was over, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we didn't, and you got to deal with it, unfortunately. So, Mets lineup is out. You see it on the screen right there. I'm going to go over in just a second. The Mets are facing Charlie Morton, the veteran who's given the Mets problems for many, many years now, wearing a Braves uniform. This is a game where the Mets bats need to do their job. Like, I think we all understand the Julio Teheran situation isn't the best situation right now. I would think 5 innings. I don't think he's going to go more than 80 pitches. You just hope that against his former team, maybe he has a little bit of, I wouldn't say motivation. I think the $2.5 million and incentives the Mets gave him is motivation enough. But I guess to show up his old team, I guess, is what you're hoping for here. But you just never know. I mean, I honestly have no expectations. Like, what you can hope for is the Mets lineup to do some damage. The Mets have got to score in this series to win. The Mets starting pitching has been pretty good. They haven't faced big time offenses as of yet in Detroit, the Reds, and the Brewers. This is a whole nother level, but the pitching has been good. And you just would expect the offense needing to do more work that they have done. And we'll see if that happens. I do like Lindor is coming up a little bit. Did well in yesterday's game. Nimmo's looking a little bit better. Alonso, again, is struggling, but who knows with Alonso? He can just get hot at any moment. Alvarez and Beatty, I do like that Beatty's Alvarez is behind in front of Beatty today, because Beatty has been swinging a pretty good bat, and maybe that gives a little bit of protection for Alvarez. And then Marte has been decent. Stewart has been a no-show, but who knows? Jeff McNeil, hit that home run. Great. Wendell, who knows? Right? So the bottom of the lineup isn't my favorite, but I mean, I see what's going on here. Like, you can't really do much difference right now. Like, there's not really a DH option that is probably worth putting. Maybe I would have put Tyrone Taylor as the DH, but then you lose yourself an outfielder, even though you do have DJ Stewart. But I don't know. I'm not crazy about this lineup. I like 1 through 5. I think it's fine. 6 through 9 scares me a little bit. I would have moved Jeff McNeil up to the 6th spot and then put Marte 7th and Stewart and Wendell 8, 9. But, it's a lot to talk about. This lineup can score 10 runs today, and we'll be okay with it, right? Well, easy. This is what I talked about a lot with Pete Alonso. Everybody talks about Lindor and his streakiness. Look at Alonso's career. He'll have a week where he's dead hot, and then when there's people on base, he does not drive him in. Like, what does he have? 2 home runs this year with 2 RBIs? Like, he's left basically a small country on base. Now, he wasn't the only one. Now, he did win a game for us at Citi Field against Detroit. Great. But you can't have those guys on base. And the main guys, like the Lindors, who was a no-show this entire season so far, except for yesterday. You can't leave all those base runners on there and be the big run producers. And again, I keep on talking about this. This goes for Lindor. This goes for Alonso. I do not care what you do after July 31st and the deadline passed and your team's out of it and you pad your stats for 3 months. I don't want to see that. Like, I'm sick and tired of that. Like, yeah, you might have a good April. You might have a great September. But your Junes are terrible. Like, their numbers in Junes are absolutely terrible. And you can't have that. You know, these are the leaders of your team. These are the big run producers of your team. They got to start winning games like we're running into in this series against the Braves. Alonso and Lindor need to carry this team in this series. It's very simple, right? I don't care if Marte leaves a ton of men on base or McNeil or Stewart. I want to see the Alonsos and Lindors who got runners on base doing that job. Because I'm sick and tired of everybody blaming everybody else, but not blaming the main guys, the big run producers. Because you were just pushing them aside and blaming everybody else as scapegoats. And it's getting to the point now where when is it going to be the point of blaming somebody else other than Lindor? Because Lindor has get thrown through the mud like he's the only one not playing well. Now, he was doing terrible, but he was the one getting dragged through the mud. And yes, it's the big contract. I understand it. Blah, 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 blah. But how many managers you're going to change? How many GMs you're going to change? I mean, how many presidents you're going to change in this organization until everything that you're changing other than the main guys and it's still not working on the field, well, there's nobody left to blame. All of a sudden, everybody's blaming Mendoza for everything. I'm sorry. Alonso left about 12 men on base in the Red Series. Lindor was just as bad except for yesterday. Like, be consistent on your blaming of certain players. Because it seems like everybody's afraid to blame Alonso. And I've been on record many, many times. This core is on the verge of either being broken up or staying together for a long time. Because there's one guy without a contract, and that is Pete Alonso. The easiest person to remove from this organization is Pete Alonso to break up a core. Not saying that I want to, but what you're telling me is that if the Mets do re-sign Alonso, that you believe in this core that is going to be with us for the next 7 years at the least. When it comes to Lindor, Alonso, and Nimmo, and if you want to trickle in McNeil for a couple of more years. So we got to start blaming the right people and stop blaming everybody else who comes in. That's the problem. And that's where we have to focus in on here. Because I'm sick and tired of Alonso leaving 12 men on base. I didn't hear a word about him on X. Yet, if Lindor did the same exact thing, guess what? Everybody would go after him, his family, and his children. I don't remember the last time somebody went after Alonso's wife. when he was struggling, because he was the same one struggling in the month of late May into early June before he got hurt. He was the no-show. Why weren't you going after his wife or his or his wife or his family? Now, I don't condone any of that. I think if you go after somebody's family, I think you're the scum of this earth, because they don't deserve that. You want to go after the players in a respectful manner, booing, fine. But don't go after the families. You're just the scum of this earth. It's not going to change anything. It's making the player despise you as fans more and more each day. And they already don't really seem to like us. So don't do that. You want to boo? You want to say this guy sucks on X? Fine. Don't go after the family. The wife has nothing to do with it. The children definitely don't have nothing to do with it. It's a game, guys. As much as we love it and we're passionate about and we like to spend money on it and buy jerseys and hats and go to games, it's still a game. It's not life or death. When you threaten families of players, you're just an idiot. I'm sorry. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So let's get to the game, guys. Got another about 10 minutes here as we get to the Mets and Braves game 1 of the series. Julio Teheran, Charlie Morton are your pitchers. The Mets lineup for tonight is Brendan Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Francisco Lindor playing shortstop, batting second. Pete Alonso batting third and playing first base. Cleaning up is Francisco Alvarez catching. Batting fifth, Brett Beatty playing third base. Starlin Marte batting sixth and playing right field. DJ Stewart DH and batting seventh. Jeff McNeil batting eighth and playing left field. And Joey Wendell batting ninth, playing second base. All right. Mets win a series in Cincinnati. Great. Their first series victory of the season. Good time to do it while you're going to Atlanta for 4, where we know that has been the house of horrors. And we got to change that some way. Listen, somebody told me today, if you split this series, would you be happy? Yeah. Coming back home, taking 4 of 3 on the road, I take that when you're going on the road 1-5. Like, I take that. So the way I see it is, at the very least, we need to take 2 of 4. You can't get swept. 1 of 4 would suck, but you skim your way out of Atlanta. Take 2 of 4. Maybe you get lucky in a game and you take 3 of 4, and now you're 5-2 on this road trip, and that would get Met fans a little bit more excited. But this is like getting rid of a demon, like, or getting rid of this pressure. Like, we know the mental softness that we talk about with this team. A lot of it has to do with the Braves. If the Mets play well in this series and take 2 of 4 or 3 of 4, and they look good doing it, that has to give this team some confidence, which I think they're lacking, specifically against the Braves. They need something to spark them going forward, post this series. And that's what I think they have to do. Like, there literally needs to be whoever, I don't care who the leader is, somebody needs to get up here and be like, listen, guys, it's been a house of horrors. We got to, you know what, step up, do the job, put our teammates on our shoulders when somebody makes a mistake, pick them up, let's go. Like, you can't get punched in the mouth and lay down and take it like a punk. Get up and keep going. I'm sick and tired of, the Braves aren't unbeatable. And right now, they're probably the most vulnerable they have been in probably 3 years. They have a lot of pitching problems, worse pitching problems than the Mets right now. We know about their lineup, but let's score some runs for our pitchers who's been saving our asses so far this year without the scoring. Pick up our pitchers. Score early. Get on Charlie Morton. We know it's been widely known about Charlie Morton. You got to get to him early. If you don't get to him early and score runs, he gets better when the game goes on. You got to get to him in the first 2 or 3 innings. If not, it's going to be a long day for the Mets lineup. I haven't heard much about Drew Gilbert, guys. I do know he hurt himself. Nobody really knows. It's been quiet about it. There haven't really been any news, which scares me a little bit. But let's hope it's not too bad. Like, if there's something wrong with the leg, I'd rather have a break than ligament damage or soft tissue damage. Because if it's a break of something, bones can heal. When it's soft tissue or ligaments, you worry because that can linger. Lev, I understand, buddy. I mean, would you be shocked if former Mets or at least one former Met and a former Mets top prospect? Of course. It is hamstring? Okay, good. I know I haven't really been, like, again, I haven't I've been, as you guys know, I'm in the process of moving. So I've been really checking my phone and trying to, get everything together before my move in a couple of days. Like, I'll be on the road to the South in 3 days. So, it's a lot of things happen. So I do apologize. So if it is a hamstring, I don't know. Did he say a grade? If Baseball Hut did say a grade, hopefully it's not a serious grade type of hamstring, which would be suck. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was just getting comments. Somebody texted me about Alien Florida. Mild hamstring. Okay, so if it's mild, rest them. There's no need to rush them back. So I do apologize about that. But if it's true, with the hamstring, which I'm sure Baseball Hut is on it, that's great. So if it's a mild hamstring, I'm happy. It's okay. It's not great. It's not bad news, but it's okay. Sorry, I'm watching Baseball Night in New York as well. All right, guys. So that is the lineup for the Mets. I'm going to end this in a few minutes since I can get back to packing and doing what I got to do. But unfortunately, Chris couldn't join us today. He's out and about. He's on travel and everything like that. So, let him do his thing. I'm here to hang out with you guys for a little bit just so we can get it going here for the series against the Braves. Remember, 4-game series. It's going to be a tough one. We all know that. But the Braves are the most vulnerable right now. And you got to take advantage of these games right now that they're vulnerable. Their pitching is in shambles right now. You got to take advantage of it. The lineup is a problem. And that's what we got to do right now. So, as of right now, we got Julio Teheran. Expectations for him is we'll see. I would take 5 innings, 3 runs. I mean, for a guy who probably hasn't pitched a lot, I take it. You just hope he's motivated to face his old team. We just hope for that. Charlie Morton, once again, you got to get him early in the game. Got to get him in the first 2 or 3 innings. If not, he's going to shut you down in the last part because he gets stronger and better when the game goes on. What I want to see is Alonso get out of his little slump here. I want to see Lindor continue to have better at-bats like he did yesterday. Alvarez, I want to see continue to pick it up. Beatty, do what you're doing. Marte, Stewart, McNeil, Wendell, pray. That's all I can say, guys. Pray, pray, pray. Let's just hope. The most important thing here, I think 2 out of 4, I take it and run from Atlanta. If we get 2 out of 4, that would be a 4-3 road trip. I take that. I think most Met fans would have signed up for a 4-3 road trip prior to going on that road trip, going down to the road trip 1-5. I think we would take that. So, with that said, I appreciate everybody in the stream. It's a very short stream today, but we have over 100 in the chat today, so I do appreciate it, guys. Before we go, make sure you hit on that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to Chris's channel, CP Mets and Knicks. You can get him on X at CPNY Sports. And you can find me on X, TMWRNYM. And of course, subscribe to the channel as well. So before you go, no matter where you're watching, Chris's channel or my channel, hit on that like button. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the solar eclipse, depending on where you are in the country. I think we had about 90% in the 5 boroughs. I was able to get some pictures and, do some sightseeing, so to speak. So enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the game, guys. Let's go, Mets. Let's get a W. First game in Atlanta, guys. I will see you next time, guys. Have a great night. Let's go, Mets. Beat those Braves. See you next time, guys. Have a great night.